Hi, the topic that I want to discuss is the marriage in community of property. Uh, the basic meaning is that the couples decide to elect one joint estate whereby all their assets and liabilities are joined into this one joint estate. They share their assets and liabilities in this joint estate. And in addition, that these two couples they must they share their assets and liabilities in the joint asset even prior their marriage. Granted, the simple rule is understood that it's a 50-50 rule. But then the topic that I want to zoom in with this arrangement is that before that, let's step back to say the joint asset to be what it is. It is more of the contribution, and it also more of the maintenance of it by this couple. So in other words, the contribution or the maintenance of this joint estate, it must come from an agreement of these two people. They must be able to define how this asset or how their liabilities are joined together, and also how are they willing or how do they plan to maintain it in this joint fashion. What I advise is that in order for couples to avoid any unnecessary conflicts, it's for them to sit down and agree on how they would contribute or how they would maintain this or how they would build this estate. Because a marriage without a plan is actually doomed to fail in some areas. But what I can emphasize is that couples need to agree on a monthly meetings. They must be able to communicate on this joint estate because it is not the responsibility of one partner. Both parties are managers in this estate. So there must also be joint agreement on how they would service this joint estate, on how they would maintain these assets together as a couple in order to maintain it as a one joint estate. So these two couples must agree, for example, on a monthly basis through maybe a form of a budget on how they would maintain their children, on how they would maintain their assets, uh, uh, whether property expenses, whether bills that involve their credit cards, whatever that involves their personal lives, understanding their assets, their investments, and all this needs to be agreed and planned accordingly. So couples who sit down and discuss such matters on how they deal with their assets and liabilities, on how they plan for their future, on how they are plan, for example, through a monthly budget or a joint budget, on how they would grow or how they would build or how they would shape or how they would maintain this joint estate in order to plan and to prepare and also to be transparent and also to share this joint responsibility, because the principle of this marriage is to share and to be conscious of every effort that we take to maintain this joint asset. So it's important that couples needs to be conscious of every act, especially in how they contribute towards this. I would also go to a level when say that if, say, for example, one partner is not working or another partner has lost their job, it is also both their responsibility to agree on how this joint estate will be maintained, on how they will agree, and it's more of being transparent about how are we going to move forward in maintaining this joint estate of ours as a family or as a legacy to us. So it is more of investing your time on this joint estate, on how we maintain it, on how we grow, on how we share this responsibility, on how this becomes a 50-50 at the end of the day to become a one joint estate. Thank you.